The world was the death of George Floyd. We now know that the career criminal and drug addict died of a fentanyl overdose after committing crimes and fighting with the cops resisting arrest. We also know why the story went worldwide, because of the alleged police brutality when a white officer killed the innocent George Floyd. None of that happened, but it made it a phenomenal story that everybody paid attention to. And now we all know George Floyd's name. So you'd assume that if the media had any integrity, that they would cover stories of police neglect and brutality and racial crimes similarly. But of course, they won't if the victim is white. And that's what we're finding out in the United Kingdom with Henry Nowak's murder by a Sikh with an 8-inch blade, stabbing him in the neck, and then claiming that he was the one being racist, as the cops arrested the young British man bleeding out in the street, put handcuffs on him, and let him suffocate to death. A literal George Floyd tale, but true this time, involving an innocent young white man that was killed by racism of the police officers and of the Sikh that stabbed him in the neck with his knife. That is what we know now definitively. This man will spend the rest of his days in prison. He's been sentenced to life in jail with a minimum of 21 years. Weapons-obsessed killer Vivek Digwa jailed for the murder. His father, Henry Nowak's father, says police left our son to die and treated his killer with decency. His killer lied and said that Henry Nowak called me a mean name. And so the cops left him on the ground to bleed out and to die. It is some of the sickest video that I've ever seen in my life. Vivek Digwa, 23, used an 8-inch blade that he carried as part of his Sikh faith. Somehow that's legal in the United Kingdom. You're not allowed to carry a gun or a knife or anything else, but a Sikh will get away with it because of it might be racism if we take away the deadly weapon, and then he could just stab young innocent white guys, and then claimed he lied and claimed that he had been racially abused by the teen who was bleeding out and was left to die in the street by the cops. We now know that because of the footage.
Este error al aceptar el borrador de la renta te puede costar dinero. Renta web.
And was left to die in the street by the cops. We now know that because of the footage. I'm warning you, this is going to cause a revolution in the UK, this footage. What you're going to watch here is extremely disturbing.
He keeps dropping side to side, so I'm just trying to keep him set up.
Right.
He's got a mouthful of blood, I don't want him...
He was on the bin on the other side of this gate.
He's jumped over these fences and stuff like that. And he's up
Move
here.
away, mate.
He's obviously... He's fallen from there and he slipped from there.
His other shoe is left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate? Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother, he's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bruises.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
Got this stab.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
I was in bed asleep. Whenever just going up there, look, someone's attacked me. I can't
breathe. Grab his other arm.
Help. So I've just come running through the little on St. Dennis Road. I've come running around the corner.
What's happened to you, alright?
Been stabbed.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? I don't think you have, mate.
So he's stabbed in the neck in a fatal wound.
Hand?
And they're handcuffing him and saying you haven't been stabbed.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate.
Yeah.
This is like the times this has happened to us. We've been walking, we can't
Can we get a van?
we've had people racistly
Mind your
attacked
foot.
and nothing happened.
He's saying he's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think
him.
you've been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
Right.
In the face?
Just get these back off, get their details and that, and I'll keep hold of him.
Should we
Right, keep you on your side, mate. You better retrieve then.
Say again.
Saying to him, keeping him on his side. We were sat up when we had him here, but he didn't like it. What's your name, mate? At the moment, you are under arrest. That's for assault, so you do not have to say anything. May harm in defence if you do not mention when questioned. So to which you later rely in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. All right? It's gonna be sick, I think.
It is this. This is going to cause a revolution in the United Kingdom. This footage.
I just want you to call it.
They could have saved this man's life if the police officers themselves had simply assessed the situation. There is a young man who had been stabbed 5 times. Instead, they believed the Indian who's there with the bloody knife. He's holding the murder weapon while this happened. His attackers told the officer Henry was racist. That was enough for the officers to let this young man die. They handcuffed him. The officers, I believe, need to face the death penalty for this. The officers are complicit in murder. I've been stabbed. I can't breathe. Please, brother, I can't breathe. The officer says, you've been stabbed, mate. I don't think you have. And then he died in the handcuffs. Mainstream media has said nothing. 0 stories on Henry Nowak. The media hates you. 4,000 CNN articles on George Floyd and 0 articles about Henry. Where is the outrage? This is barbarian behavior. The audio from the emergency call, the lies are being told. We've been attacked by some white person. Put them all in prison. Do you know that they'll use white guilt? They'll use white guilt against us, and they'll use the alleged the term racism, how every white person is so terrified of that. They'll use that in order to get out of real legitimate murder, to get away with murder. They treated him like a criminal. He was the victim. This is a real George Floyd story. This is the actual narrative of George Floyd. Correct. He was treated differently because he was white. This is what you call white privilege, huh? Look at this. He had his knife on him. Recording has been released. Some of the 911 call. His family aided him in hiding the crime, with his mother hiding the knife, using to stab Nowak, and the members of his family repeating false claims that he was racistly attacked and concealing the fact that he had been stabbed as he lay there dying. Shocking turn of event. Received a sentence of 21 years to life. So he may spend life in prison. I guess we'll see. Digo's mother was convicted for aiding her son in concealing the weapon, hindering the investigation. Public outrage has resulted in a reversal of the UK cases as of late, with public seemingly at the breaking point of the recent turmoil. It's incredibly painful and so sick. His father speaking. When police arrived, Henry was laying on the floor, barely able to sit up, plainly in severe distress. Henry told the officers that he could not breathe. He told them that he'd been stabbed 4 times. The officer says, I don't think you have. Henry was pulled across the gravel, his hands forced behind his back, and he was placed in handcuffs. Instead of being treated like a dying victim, they treated him as a criminal because of his skin color. Rupert Lowe, head of Restore Britain, says, we need prosecutions for whatever happened to Henry Nowak. It's even worse. Of course, the world deserves to know what happened. That's right. Nowak attempted to flee the scene, climbing over a fence while Digo was stabbing him. This is a clear case of murder, says Elon Musk. He tried to escape and was stabbed to death. This is so much worse. Starmer on Henry Nowak, he talked his last breath next to an officer and was totally not moved by a weight. This was George Floyd. That's right. Amazing. Keir Starmer said, given whole speeches on George Floyd, cried and cried. Prime Minister of England cried and cried about George Floyd. But he said nothing about his own countrymen being stabbed to death by a migrant that he let into the country, and then having their entire migrant family collectively collude in order to protect their murderous child. Poor boy was running away and somebody stabbed him, stole his phone. Police in the UK attacked him instead of the murderer. Immigration, politicians, Britain. Ugh. Telling you. I've been stabbed 4 times. Hampshire police, we don't believe you. I can't breathe. Hampshire police, we still don't believe you. The officer instantly believed Vikram's Digwa's false claim that he was a racist and that he deserved to die because he was a racist. Incredible. This is the turning point for the UK. That's exactly right. If a minority in Britain was stabbed repeatedly by a white man, the police turned up and handcuffed him while he bled to death, it would be the end of the empire. You're exactly right. Because Henry NOWAK was a white man, we have heard nothing from Starmer. They simply do not care. Meanwhile, Hampshire police continue to conceal. The body cam footage is out now. I'm so angry. Watching this body cam footage radicalized me. The police officers involved need to be prosecuted. This is infuriating. The officers should spend the rest of their lives in jail. We aren't mad enough. Even after the sentence was read in court, the murderer's family didn't have the decency or dignity or decorum to be quiet, and they started to hurl abuse at the victim's family. They're not like us. They cannot behave like us, and they don't belong here. Saying this post right here, a lot of people sharing, I will personally order the death penalty for the police officers who arrested Henry NOWAK as he lay dying. This account. He is the leader of the Britain First Party, UK's fastest growing political nationalist party. The attacker was literally wearing his knife when the police arrived, and they still didn't believe it. You can see right here. Rupert Lowe sounding off. Perhaps maybe the final word that needs to be stated on this, because something must happen in the United Kingdom. Something must happen in the West. The men of the West must rise up against this. Otherwise, we'll all end up like Henry. For those Pakistani men who have inflicted the very worst pain imaginable on innocent British children know this. There will come a day when the power of the British state that concealed your atrocious crimes for so long is turned against you. It will be swift, it will be brutal, it will be severe. Because if Restore Britain gets a sniff of power, there will be a reckoning, I promise that. We will show you the same mercy you showed our girls. Your race or religion will not protect you any longer. The message will be sent and heard across the world. If you rape children, you will pay for it, and you will pay for it with everything. That is what Restore Britain will do. This is worldwide news. It is the saddest thing. He did not die with dignity, says his father. No, he didn't need to die at all. Has anybody made any type of argument as to why you need to bring people that must carry 8-inch knives with them everywhere that they go into your nation? What exactly is that? Has anybody had the decency to just make the argument? No, they can't, because it's indefensible. And when you put too many people from too many different incongruent backgrounds together, then you create the conditions for this. Every single death is a tragedy, but a preventable death is even more so. We will pray for Henry's family tonight. I don't know what else to do other than cover this story so that you can see it and that you can make wise decisions as to who and how you are voting so that you can prevent this from happening to your children. Please pray for Henry NOWAK and his family. God help us.